Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2, the grand finals of the World Team League's Kung Fu Cup, a $1,500 weekly tournament, bringing out the best of the best, including this Terran player who has quietly snuck his way back into the top 5 in the entire world. He's on a tear lately. The Terran in the blue, the People's Terran. It's Cure. And a worthy challenger from another continent. We have the Wall, D. Mawa. It's Showtime, his European counterpart. Two solid macro players facing off. I think the underdog in this match is Showtime. But we'll see what he has to show us this time as he kicks it off with a Stargate, a best of 5. If you like the longer series, if you like spending a little more time with these top tier players, well, hopefully you like this video. And I issue you a challenge yet again. Yes, last time I asked for 1,000 and, I'm not exactly sure what the number is, but I'm going to round up. 1,000. If we get 1,010 likes on this video, I will cast another series of StarCraft 2. Tomorrow. And I'll probably do it anyways. But, yes, make the difference today. And I'll take recommendations. I may ignore those recommendations, but I will take them. And I'll be happy about them. Usually. So, starting things off. And also, it's kind of crazy to me that we're having a $1,500 weekly tournament. There's still so many tournaments in StarCraft 2. There's almost, I believe last year, of tournaments worth over $100, there were over almost one for every day of the year, if you add it up. Somewhere like 250 tournaments. I mean, it is a 1v1 game, which means it's easy enough for Beyond and Dark to show up to most of them. But Cure, one of the hardest working players in all of StarCraft 2, he's called the People's Terran, not only because he makes a lot of relatable mistakes, but because he's such a hard working player. Like, he's never, well, besides being the GSL champion, He shows up to almost all of these tournaments, large and small. You can count on Cure to make a cameo appearance and put in the effort. And that's why he's one of my favorite players. Always so entertaining to watch. Also, any player who's going to make a few little mistakes just to make things interesting. Well, that's not really why he does it, I think. But it makes it a lot more dramatic, too, since there is always that chance the game will turn on its head. As much as I love watching Cyril, it's a little like watching a Disney movie. You know how the outcome... You know that if we're considering Cyril as the good guy here, you know the good guy is probably going to end up winning. At least what you're being led to believe. Whereas Cure could go either way. I do think these players have a very similar style. Like, Showtime has built his name off that defensive Protoss that just doesn't seem to work so well at the highest level, as Protoss has a very, very small margin of error in finding success, I guess, when it comes to defense, as they are very reliant on cooldowns and fragile units to make sure they do well enough. And now, all right, 5 SCVs have gone down to the Oracles. A Viking drop attempt, as well as a Hellion run-by, as both these players, the skirmishes on either side of the map, will claim a handful of workers. In fact, Cure losing 7 SCVs overall and a variety pack of early units, but that will not slow down the general trend of his bio production. He's got 3 Rex, Stim, Combat Shield +1, triple threat, ready to go, Medivacs, already done. The other I don't know where the other Medivac went. It decided to come back home. So he's lining up. Oh, he's going right back out. Okay, so maybe a little bit of select all army action there. But sending out the Medivac, triple threat done. Showtime does have a 3rd Nexus locked down right now. He's got it set up. He's got 59 probes, and he stopped probe production in order to supplement his infrastructure, which I think a smart move, as a lot of Protoss players get a little overzealous before they get their zealots. Oh, he finds the Medivac, but it's already far enough by. The Marines should be able to unload. There's a Colossus in production. Extended thermal lance just started, boosting past. And a bit of an awkward setup here. Means that the Marines... Okay, well, eventually the Phoenixes will pick them up and knock them down. But here comes Cure with the main force. Though a bit disjointed on the attack. He ends up sending in the medevac, everything dies, and then the next attack comes out. So that should give Showtime a little bit of preparation. Though, half a dozen Widowmines with the army. The Raven launches anti-armor missiles, shredding the defenses of a whole bunch of the Protoss army. Interference matrix on the Disruptor, gonna disable it for a few extra seconds. But overall, Showtime's defense is impeccable so far. Disruptor shot, wards away. Targets a Widowmine down. Showtime looking solid so far. Able to rotate him into position and bring his units to bear before Cure is able to slice into the natural there. But Cure does have his third command center on the way. He does still have 53 SCVs, and that's just off of 2 command centers. So far, Cure has not found the damage, but he still has such a dangerous army that Showtime can't risk anything more than maybe a Zealot run-by trying to come out. I like the Diligence. Only stims his Marines, then stims everything else when he sees a 4th Nexus on the way. Probably gonna have to cancel that, does so immediately. Revelation used, detects the Widowmine, picks it up, but there's a second one. Slams into the Phoenix. 4 Zealots split off to chase. Ghost Academy is on the way. Showtime getting +1 ground weapons, but he's not even close to finishing it now. Whereas Cure already has 1-1 on the ground. Though I don't believe he has an armory, which means the Widowmines do not remain cloaked after firing, and he can't start that +2/+2 quite yet. Showtime somehow missing vision over to the right flank. Not able to spot this army before it comes in, takes out a few probes, and burrows the mines in order to take out some Zealots. Showtime needs to get that vision back out on the field. It's very hard to maintain it against an active Terran player, but it is required if you want to play defensive. And once again, the 4th Nexus shows up, knocked down immediately by Cure's army, which is waiting for it. Another Widowmine connects. Another one picked up before it can do too much damage. The Phoenixes remove a lot of the Marines out of the fight, dropping them down back into the fray. The Zealots kited back. Concussive doing a lot of work here to slow down the Zealots. But there's no Marines left. Okay, just one. But that means the Phoenixes are actually going to be able to chase down the medevacs and get a decent victory on top of the win on the ground. But another army stimming in. The barrage of Terran, the onslaught, the deluge right now just continues swarming across the map. The Zealots are warped in to defend. The Phoenixes take out another couple medevacs. Zealots charging forward. EMP lands. Ghosts have joined the fray, in case it wasn't clear. A scan spots the army, but Cure maintains the aggression. At this point, the best defense is a good offense. The best way for Cure to keep Showtime under control is to keep him bottled up in his base, because things get extra difficult when you got half a dozen charge, lots of warp prism, what have you on the other side of the map. But Cure's done a good job towing the line between overextending and playing too passively. And he's caught up overall, both having a worker advantage. It's 72-67. The one glaring issue for Cure is his upgrades have slowed down. He's just now getting the armory. He focused on getting his tech up in the form of ghosts, for the most part. So just now getting the armory means Showtime's been given a bit of space to catch up on the upgrades. Though +2 infantry weapon starts. We got Vikings on the way. Good against Warp Prisms. Great against Colossi. Just okay against Phoenixes. Warp Prism heading in, but the Vikings are already in position to intercept. Oh, the Warp Prism has to back off. Looks like it will get away for now. Alrighty, 4th base planetary. Showtime up to 74 probes. We got quite a macro game on our hands. Still could go easily either way, as both players have suffered similar losses. Cure's actually... Oh, he knocked out the Prism, which does open up some space on the map. Cool. EMPs wipe out the energy and the shields of the Phoenixes mid-map. Showtime splits his army. into defensive pieces. Enough to defend the 3rd base, and then the main brunt of the army towards the 4th, trying to take a 5th. Well, EMPs land, but the Colossi on the back. Some guaranteed damage. Phoenixes taking down the Medivacs. Charge lots covering for everything else on the ground. Picking up some of the valuable units. Well, I guess Marauders. I thought he would get some of the Ghosts with it. Still, a bit of energy on those Phoenixes, but mostly being used to knock down the Medivacs. Medivac count down to 3. For 20 Marauders and 28 Marines. Quite a sizable ground force from Cure, but Showtime is near 200 supply as well. A similar worker count. It's just he rarely has most of his army in one place at one time, understanding the real danger. Oh, Disruptor shot connects! Oh, but this one clips a few more. Those Disruptors just smacking across Cure's army and killing the momentum of the push. And I think that's enough. And even though Cure is able to replace those units immediately, he can't warp them in. And that means he has to fall back for now. The Medivac count, dangerously low. Well, it's back up to 5, but he had to reproduce some of those Medivacs, and it's cost him a lot of map control. As Showtime now getting +2 weapons to match the +2/+2 of Cure. So just that slight armor advantage for Cure. But this is about as far as Showtime's been able to maneuver out on the map. Widowmine finds a connection, but the Zealot's undeterred. EMP also hits the Medivacs as it goes for the Phoenixes. And that means next to no healing. A huge bio-army could be caught, cornered, and killed. Now, of course, those units are still very dangerous, unless you're able to bring overwhelming force to bear. A few Disruptors. I mean, the most clear bait and switch here. Will there be a recall in time? As Cure is heading for the 3rd base. If there was going to be a recall, well, I think he EMP'd the Nexus. Cure sends his army out. Of course we're going into a base trade. Cure's army going to cut down the 3rd. Showtime takes out one of the bases of Cure. Whoa, with danger close Disruptor shot. A lot of the tech is vulnerable. They say never base trade a Terran, but at this point the choice has already been made. Showtime trying to get enough damage done on the other side. DTs are warped in, but they get a valuable Ghost. Force out a scan. Planetary. Under attack. Force field. Zones out the repair. More SCVs gonna go down. 40 probes in the last minute. Vikings hit the deck of the main. Going for the Dark Shrine, but the DTs are warped in to defend their home. The scan comes out, but the DTs are slicing through the Vikings. What a weird scenario this is. But DTs do indeed beat Vikings on the ground. EMP prevents the recall at another base. Widowmines are making things difficult for Showtime. He's down to 13 probes. He's losing so much economy. He decides to continue going forward. 63 probes down. Almost less than he started with. Still some Phoenixes out in the field. More EMPs to prevent the recalls. Warping to DTs, but EMP reveals the Dark Templar, as does Scan. And Showtime is getting his economy eviscerated back at home. But Cure is bottled up in his main. Disruptor shots in the streets right now. Jammed in between the barracks. Cure, his army, Showtime's down to 2 probes, which is, you know, not great. Phoenixes show up once again, more EMPs, firing Disruptors out. Cure maintains a supply lead, but it's all bottled up into his main. Showtime will live, but he has to rebuild from 2 workers, so he doesn't really have a lot of time to sit back as he's cutting his way through. He still has a very dangerous army that could potentially... How does it come to this? Neither of these players able to win on the field, so they try to circumvent it entirely. Still a few Widowmines dotting the field, including at Showtime's natural. Starport taken out. If he takes out enough of the orbitals, well, the Disruptor shots in the main. Cure trying to save his units in the Medivacs. And another Ruptor finds a connection. Cure now at a supply disadvantage. The boys are on the way back. Anything to distract. More Disruptors. Volley front side. Phoenixes lift everything. Disruptor shots dotting the field. EMPs all over the place right now. Medivacs trying to do the work. The Marauders underneath trying to cut down the rep. Disruptors almost entirely eliminated. Colossi helping out so much. It's still so close. And Cure picks up. And he heads from his main. The Colossi, a single Disruptor, but 2 DTs. How are they even in the red HP? What happened to those DTs? I'm not entirely sure, but the DTs may save the day. Detection or lack thereof. Widowmine takes one of the reinforcing stalkers. It's still so close. Oh, he's within range of a turret. On the edge of the main. There's a single... Oh, he gets it. He gets the mine. So important. The Marauder's stimming forward, but the Disruptor! It goes wide! The DT's targeted down. Marauder's in the air. 2 Colossi. How is it this close? Cure now has more medevacs than Marauders, but still. There's Widowmines limiting the... Cure's now the one down to 2 workers. Ah! Well... Is that the last orbital? Cure doesn't... Well, he can't lift it very easily because of the, How many DTs? None, which is not very many. EMP. 3 Marauders. He's using the turrets. The turrets are his last defensive tool. They're just not that... I think Showtime's got it. Well... He can outrange the turrets. There's still a planet to... Oh, come on. It feels like... Well, Cure. Showtime holds on. He has to be very wary of the turrets. But... Cure has lost all but... How does it come to this? Showtime back up to 20 workers. Gonna warp in a few zealots. He still has a Dark Shrine. He could cancel his shield upgrade and get some money back as well. Widowmine. Oh, the zealots though. Cure! Those Widowmines so valuable, but it's not enough. Oh my. Oh me, oh my. Wow. Well, that was certainly an experience. Showtime manages to thread the needle there. He holds it together as Cure kind of flounders in a base trade. I think losing all those Vikings in the main, as well as kind of a ham-fisted fight in his own main. Wow, Showtime holding on, showing that stability, that concentration. Like, he might not be perfect, but he really prioritizes incredibly well. And it pulls through in game 1. What looked for a few moments like Cure may run away with a base trade, Showtime kept that unit composition together. Just enough. God, how many fights are so close? Anyways, we're going right in to game 2. Dragon Scales. They've switched up the colors. But it's not too bad since it's not a mirror matchup. Oh. Okay. Well, with an appropriate start. Neither player able to take the fight they want on the field, so they just avoid it entirely. Cure fighting in the streets of his own main. Just not quite enough. I like how he pulled the boys. There's something profound about pulling the boys from, like, his 4th base back to his main. I don't even know if that was intentional, because it felt like he kind of noticed the SCVs were there, and he's like, oh, I guess we're going. Here we go. But, wow, what a roller coaster. Yeah, the Kung Fu Cup bringing out the most entertaining plays. Make sure to check out the World Team League, by the way. Thank you to the WTL for sending me the games. All they asked was I mention it's from the World Team League. So if you get an opportunity to watch it live, make sure to do so. Maybe not too much. Maybe just like put it on in the background so you can have recommendations for me to cancel it. But give them some support. After you like and subscribe, of course. Showtime. What's up? What about you? Taking a break? Yes, Protoss players all about not going over that 16 mark, even though technically you can. It's still efficient, but the most professional players will avoid that for a few seconds in order to maximize at the natural. Ooh. Okay. It was a pretty exhausting game one. Of course, Ancient Cistern is such, like, the larger the map, the more likely the armies are just going to get into these spots where they can't. Kira was very diligent about EMPing the next side he was attacking, which, without energy, you can't recall. So, that was the intent of it, kind of forcing Showtime into that base trade. But once again, Kira gets into a wacky base trade, and once again, he kind of fumbles at the goal line. I do think there was a good opportunity for Kira to come out ahead, but we're in a new game. The Oracle taps the Hellion on the shoulder, and the Adepts finish it off. Another Stargate opener. I like it. I like it. I'm a big proponent. Oh, what? What did he kill the Adept? Oh, we missed the bait and switch. He let the Adept into the main and then killed it with a mine. Clever girl. That open door is sometimes just an invitation to death. The Adept took it, it seems. Showtime with a quick third Nexus. Cure, once again, opting for a lot more production off of 2 bases. He's got the Raven, he's got the 3 racks undeterred. I think the smaller the map, the better it is. And the Dragon Scale is one of the quickest rush distances we have in the map pool. So, again, someone who's opening multiple Oracles. Once again, there's a lot of opportunity to get solid damage with a bio push, especially the Raven. Building up energy, essentially able to shut down any key robo units, and if it's not robo, if it's just like a bunch of other units, then you got anti-armor miss, which we saw last game. But it was just Showtime having a little bit too much, too quickly. But this time around, it's Twilight Council and a robo. But the Twilight Council indicates we're not going down that Colossus rush route, but instead, Blink? Breaks the lock with a little pickup, sets it right back down. It seems like a Blink build. But, he goes with Charge. He does go with the Robo Bay, which feels like a lot of different directions at once here. Especially since he knows that Cure is going for the 2 base timing. So, we'll see how it works out for him. Showtime getting the Robo Bay, getting Charge. He opened a couple Oracles. So the big danger is going to be the first. Oh no! Well, at least the Phoenix takes it. What a save! Here with some cute Widowmine juggling. So we'll see. Yes, clearly the big danger's got to be right as the triple threat hits. Combat shield, stim, +1. Ooh. Gets an Oracle as well on the way out. So, here comes Cure. Charge is not even done. Disruptor is on the way. Raven is filled with energy. It's going to have 130. Not quite enough for 2 interference matrices yet, but getting there quickly. Couple Phoenixes here. Ooh, well, Raven bruised, but still intact. Scan. Charge isn't there yet. Anti-armor missile. Oh, that's not enough stuff. That's looking... Well, force field's good. Disruptor shot. Hits nothing. Does force back for now, but he just decides, why go into the shield battery area when you could just depower the Robo? Widowmine burrows. Ooh, ends up hitting one of the Adepts. Kills the Disruptor. Jams himself in between the pylon and the edge of the base here. Another one. Disruptor shot. Nothing. Already the damage is really being done, even if Cure doesn't win off this. Yeah, it does feel like Cure sharply executed timing and executes Showtime in game 2. Just a few too many directions. That's why a lot of the time you'll see the Blink instead of going for Charge. Disruptors and Charge lots have a very tense relationship. Mostly because the Charge lots are continually wondering if the Disruptors will shoot the Charge lots in the back. And the Disruptors are totally saying, just trust me, bro. I'm definitely going to hit the Marines and Marauders. Unfortunately, I don't know if any of the Disruptor shots hit any Marines and Marauders. Just not the most reliable unit early on. And Cure ties it up with a clean execution there. Just a very solid 2-base timing. If you're one of the 4 people who's watching this who still plays the ladder, well, that's one you can take. Like, Cure is a template. Both these players are template players. Which is my fancy way of describing players. I think almost all the time you can just take their builds and almost directly copy them. Like a player like Raynor or Beyond or Cyril, and a lot of the time Max Pack, like these very tippy-top players, many of their builds are either tailored specifically for tournaments or their opponent, or they're just too good for me and you, right? They're just too fast. But Cure and Showtime, with all due respect, are much easier to follow in both the intent of their builds and the execution. Like, that was just opening it up with a Hellion Scout into a Mind Cyclone defense, and then follow up with the triple threat timing and a Raven. And in fact, the way I'm saying it makes it sound a lot more complicated than it is. The clear intent is to hit with the Raven and Stim Combat Shield +1 before the 3rd base can really kick in. That 3rd base, you've already invested the minerals, you've already invested in the infrastructure, but it hasn't paid off yet. Clearly those charge lots not getting the work done. The Disruptors, almost less than useless. Cure just sharply nailed that timing, and I don't think Showtime gonna go for that kind of menagerie of tech yet again. I really, as Protoss, you got to be decisive. You can't afford against a committed Terran player to go every direction at once. You're not going to get away with it. So either Stargate directly into like a mass charge, like an 8-gate, 10-gate charge lot, or into that Robo-Bay for the Colossi. I think the Robo-Bay has a little bit more of a success rate. The problem is there's a pretty prime target for the interference matrix there. So that is the beauty of the Raven and how much it can cover. All right, that pylon should block. Yeah. He can look in, but he can't. Papers, please. All right. Well, here we go again. Cyclone, Oracle. Now, the most interesting part of this is going to be what Showtime does next. He's got double gas at the natural at 3:30. That's so quick. Anything before 4 minutes is already pretty quick. So, it clearly wants to get a lot of tech here. As that Vespene gas is what you use to make that happen. Alright, we will see. Slap down the revelation. I want to take this time. Thank you, guys. I want to talk about... You've already made it. What are we? We're 3 games in. So, thank you for making it this far. So, I've been testing out the non-clickbait titles here on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. So, I've been asking you for the likes, but also adding the non-clickbait titles. And I'll be honest with you. They don't get as many views. But it does seem to attract people who are more interested in actually, like, watching the game. So I'm giving you that. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. I really like doing the non-clickbait titles, but there's a reason there are clickbait titles. And here's the thing. When I clickbait, it's not a lie. Okay, the term I've heard used that I never want to hear again is legit bait, which just sounds bad. Somehow it sounds worse than clickbait, but it's like crazy strategy from Showtime bamboozles Terran Pro. About which Terran Pro? Which is it? I gotta click and find out, kind of stuff like that. But it works. But I also want you to be able to know, like, what tournament and stuff. But that's always in the description. But we'll see if this tournament ends quickly or not. As he lifts up a whole bunch of the Marines. Quite a weird timing here. The probes are pulled. The Robo-Bay's on the way. Immortals and Phoenixes. I really thought we were going to have another couple minutes of macro for me to talk about the YouTube meta. But instead, like a Cyclone Stim Marine timing up against Phoenix Immortal. What a crazy timing from Cure. No Medivacs with it. That's the key point. Like, really just pressing in. Anyways, I'm gonna let the algorithm decide with the clickbait stuff, but I am open to feedback. I do like the consistency and of the titles, and also it's a lot less work. But overall, the clickbait exists for a reason, so we'll see how it goes. But either way, that it doesn't change the content. I've heard it described. If you've watched the video from Veritasium, which is one of my favorite channels, it's about the packaging. Like, you're gonna get the same content inside, but how much are you willing to adapt the packaging so that way people will buy it? I mean, just look at shampoos. Okay, it's just a weird thing to bring up in the middle of a StarCraft cast, but like, would you buy generic shampoo 1 or epic gamer shampoo that improve in 5-in-1 increase to your APM every day? And you're like, Winter, I don't buy shampoo. All right, I'm Jeff Bezos, I'm bald, and I want to support your channel. Which was a weird turn for that. But another weird turn is 2 Medivacs into the main. As once again, Showtime keeps building these kind of pseudo walls in his base that the Medivacs are continually exploiting. They're pretty good against Reapers, but not so good as soon as the Medivacs show up to the party. Showtime doesn't have a third. This was the worst game I could have chosen for the meta discussion, as kind of a crazy split from your standard builds here. Just an adjustment overall. I just wanted to finish my thought, not end with a weird Jeff Bezos joke, but anyways, here we are. Have you guys heard of Prime Game? Overall, Showtime's in Trouble Town right now. Oh, he's looking like a permanent resident in the last few games, as Kier has ruined his probe count. Kier has a third base. Showtime is sitting on 41 probes. He hasn't been able to get anything done. He never got any of his tech. The drops and the direct attack have really limited his economy. Showtime just never really got anywhere very quickly here. And now the pseudo wall, once again being used and abused, he's just going to target down the cyber core, which is interesting. He's just going to get the star. Why not? Why not? Widow Mines are going to soften up and take out some of the Phoenixes, trying to jam his Colossi into this backline, but the Concave actually favors Kier to some extent here. Oh, a bit of a awkward pickup, but at the end of the day, with this sort of economy, Kier can afford to make mistakes. That wasn't a mistake, but Kier... Oh, no. Another Widow Mine connects. Kier can afford to lose these units out on the map. This has been kind of a non-starter for Showtime. His very heavy kind of mech toss play. The Vikings show up. He dodges some of the shots. Targeting down the War Prism, though. Kier gets it. Oracle wanders in. Widow Mine knocks it out. And Kier, with a calm, clean, decisive execution, will take another game. So, the long, drawn-out, dramatic base trade so far has gone to Showtime. But Kier, otherwise, has just laid the pressure on and smothered Showtime. These overwhelming attacks. Great exit. This is the kind of... Like, Kier's kind of... He plays tournaments like the ladder. His builds are not particularly... They're not reliant on very much surprising your opponent. But he's just solid. He's just a solid player. He's just... Everyone underestimates... I don't know why I'm acting like Kier isn't one of the best players in the world. He clearly is. Like... It's just he never does these flashy micro plays like a Beyond or a Maru. So he doesn't have as many... Like, oh my god, look, he's reinvented marine splitting. No. Kier says, why would I split 4 marines when I could build 8 more? And at the end of the day, I can't fault that mathematical genius. So that puts Cure with a relatively quick 2 onto match point of this Kung Fu Cup and its significant prize pool. Honestly, well, I think it's time for some Blink. Cure has shown he's adapted. He's adapted directly to this Stargate opener. The one thing we haven't seen from Showtime yet is the Twilight. And that is the struggle with Protoss. It feels like you have to pull out another card almost every game, especially if your opponent has a bead on your opener. And it is on the Protoss to kind of shift the game into their favor. All right. Showtime, adept on the way. He's not building Warp Gate, which usually indicates he's saving up that little bit of extra gas, get a quicker, a quicker Stargate. This time, wow, Kira's just, he's so, I love the the flow chart here. He's like, all right, guys. We've worked it out. We've got the strats. We've got Medevac. We got Cyclone. We got Marauder. We got Marine. Then he's like, wait a second. We don't need Medevacs. Do that. Don't need Cyclones. Marauder's overrated. Marines! All right. As every game so far has been a quicker and quicker Marine timing. And this game is just... I mean, he might add a couple Marauders in, but it's just gonna be a bio-timing. No Cyclone! Oh. It feels like we're going backwards in the tech tree here, but... Cure is stripping out the weak parts of the build, which are any units that aren't Marines. Alright, the Adept's looking around. It's... Wow. This is better. I'm gonna be upset if this works. Stim combat shield on the way. Oh, Cure. He's like, I heard you saying I wasn't beyond. Okay, I heard you say that I couldn't micro Marines. I don't know if building 20 Marines and just stutter stepping really counts, but well, how about this, Winter? 3 racks. Mass Marine. Alright. And Showtime immediately... Yeah, he knows. Yeah, 100%. Let's take a look at the vision. Yeah, he sees the 3rd rack. Yeah. Okay, Showtime. Showtime has every opportunity to answer this. He knows exactly what's coming. But the question will have to be, can he stop it? Sending a single Marine slightly forward as a cover for stasis. The Adepts. Alright, but there is a turret. A key part of all this. No, Cure's coming back. Interesting. Stim's not quite done. He says, I want to just deal with this. It's just going to target... Ooh, that's a bit of a waste there. Uses a Stim to take out these Adepts. Probably worth it. So, a lot of the energy gone. So, let's see. That was, Ooh, Showtime taking a hidden base in the bottom left corner. Very interesting. So if he holds this, these builds are getting further and further from the kind of standard place I was talking about at the start. As Cure has stripped out everything but Marines and Marauders. Showtime now has to find a way to deal with this. Well, Sentries, Immortal. Cure looking. You have a 3rd? Nope. Nope. Well, technically, yes, we know, but... Couple stasis. Stacy? Stasises. Stasis wards. You can just say the other word. It's much easier. Stasis wardies. Not his tournament, but... Wow. Kira not bothering with going up the ramp. I bet. I'm just gonna say, I bet Beyond would have tried it. The oldest play in the book. I remember back in Wings of Liberty, where a legitimate professional gamer strategy was against a one-base Protoss. Oh my god, Cure, not a genius. This is like 104 IQ play. It's like slightly above average. Huh, he's just sitting at the top of his ramp. I wonder if he has another base. He finds the hidden base. So, Cure, yeah, he figured it out. The probes are on the run. Is he not? Oh my god. Well, this is pretty tough for the German Protoss here. Yeah, I'm not gonna say this is a 200 IQ. Like, this is... Here's just solid. He just knows. It doesn't take a mathematical genius to figure out that there's probably something else going on here. Oh no. Oh no, that classic force... Oh my god! The force field blocking the Protoss army from killing the Marines and saving the base. I don't know. If we remove force field from the game, would it... What was I saying? Wings of Liberty. That old Wings of Liberty build of stimming up a ramp and hoping the Protoss doesn't hit their force field. This was a pro gamer level strat. Now the best force fields are the ones that don't block the Protoss army more than the Terran. I honestly don't know. Well, I was gonna say I don't know what's gone wrong in this series for Showtime, but it just feels like Cure's a little bit sharper. Like he's just cutting through. Well, Widowmon splashes over almost everything, though no armory means at least it'll be revealed afterwards. Showtime with... I mean, that's a strong army there. He's got a lot going on. But is it enough? 2 Colossi, +1 attack. Viking showing up the boys. Pre-pulled. And now Showtime. Force field's the bottom of the ramp. Ah, this is gonna get interesting. Well, here we go again. Showtime is just jammed in here. Finds a spot for the Warp Prism. Force field refreshed. But he's kind of just... This is the advanced version of hoping they don't hit the force fields, I guess. Well, I don't know. There's not that much more energy. It... Well, there, the recall with a Colossus in the breeze. Drop it on top. What a maddening game so far. And honestly, Showtime. I think it's enough. I think it was worth it. Crazy. That was one of the most awkward fights I've ever seen. As Cure can't quite get onto the army to engage it. Showtime, though, still lacking. He's just brought the problems home with him. Disruptor connects from the high ground. Cure just kind of ignores it. The rest of the army intact still. Shield battery overcharge helping, but now he's out of range of it. The Colossi stepping forward, juggling back, doing a great job thus far, but down to 2 Colossi. The Vikings just targeting, and Showtime taps it out. The Terran army still too strong. Well, that was a roller coaster of a series, but Cure is the one who steps off the ride intact. Wow. Okay. Cure, the People's Terran, stimming through and tearing apart the defenses. And at the end of the day, he takes it 3-1. Showtime putting up a solid fight. Quite a dynamic set of obstacles, both in Cure and his own way. But I think an entertaining series. I apologize a little for getting off track there with the commentaries. But why is it you're here? You know what? I probably shouldn't. Moving on. Thank you for watching. Thank you again to World Team League. Make sure to check them out if you get the opportunity. For sending me the games. The Kung Fu Cup. as well. Congratulations to Cure for earning another victory. And thank you for watching. What was it, Jimmy? 1,010 likes for the next series? Well, hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm taking those recommendations. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.